Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Camera's not. Our camera's not. Good. We've got,
Good.
the other two are, it's kind of a crazy morning here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had our people from our MLS board here. We've got this whole MLS ridiculous, two MLSs we have here, like two that have different forms, have different leadership. Like if you want to set a client up on a search here, if agents aren't in both boards, you have to do two. It's just a mess. So we have the one that we have been boycotting, basically, is here, came to our team meeting at the very end of our team meeting, and they're still sitting in there. So I mentioned
Oh,
our, because Tim is our broker, and
right,
so
right.
he's kind of gotta stay in there. So,
Well,
um,
that's so fun.
yeah, well, and it's so, like I remember, where I started in, was an agent in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you know, population of 250,000, and there's one MLS for the entire, our perimeter around it. And even when I was down in, Seminole, Pinellas County, one MLS for like 8,000 each.
Well, yeah, and if we're being extra honest, that one MLS actually covered a giant area, so it didn't really
Exactly.
matter. You never had to join more than one because that was
Yeah,
Stellar MLS and it covers an
yeah,
insane portion of the state.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
and
we could totally tangent on that. I think MLSs are a racket, and I think that there
oh,
should probably just be one per state. Like it doesn't. If we're licensed by state, then we
yep.
should have access to everything. They're money grabs, though. Anyways, tell me
Yeah.
something good. How are things going? It's been a week, and really, it's been 2 weeks since I spoke to you. So, how are things going? Tell me something good.
It's interesting because I was gone all last week
Right,
and down in Austin. And I know that, Katie and I communicated after the team meeting last week. And at first she was a little bit frustrated, but then it's sort of like, you know, the energy though has changed. And I
okay,
mean, like, I could feel that when I came back, it's, she's got balloons everywhere and she's got bold stuff and you know, we've got some of our top agents that have signed up. And so it was like, I could feel that energy shift just when I walked in, and even at team meeting this morning, we had a room full of agents. We had probably 50 agents on Zoom, if you count how many of them were in our other locations, and there
right,
was
right.
8 room. So I can 100% feel that.
Okay. So that's great to hear. And we kind of had a slow week for registrations. No judgment in that, just
Yep,
calling it like, so
yep.
what, and I reached out yesterday, I didn't hear back from any of you. So what's the plan to capitalize on the change in the energy? Because they won't sign up on their own.
Right.
And just to kind of share, like, look, I am, if you get to know me at all, you'll learn, and you kind of have a little bit of knowledge. So I think you know this, like I am an optimist, period. And I also, even though I'm an optimist, I work real hard to not be a ding dong and at least pay attention to things, right? And math always tells a story, right? So we're at 21 and 38, 21 full, 38 first step right now. Uh, for the record, if I look at all bold launches for the country, we're like middle of the pack. So it's not like we're failing. And at the
Yep.
same time, based off this current trajectory, we're on trend to roll into step one at 36 full bold and 66 first step. And based off an average show rate of 60% and an average conversion rate of 70, that would put us at a 48 person bold. Now, here's the good news. That's really close to 50, which is where we need to hit. So I know that we can get there. I also feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I can't imagine that you guys signed up for this bold and thought, let's do the bare minimum. Like, I feel like you signed up because you wanted to do as much as you could with it. So that's where we're trending. We're trendiating. Wow, we are trending for a 48 person bold, which means can we get it to 50? Totally. And again, I don't. And if I'm off base, you can just tell me. Like, I don't think you're striving for just getting by. So like, what's the plan to get some more momentum this week, to harness that energy and turn it into registrations?
One of the things at our leadership meeting yesterday not at the 9 o'clock, but at the 11 o'clock, I know Tim gave us the list of co-op agents he's talking to.
Okay.
He's got some of those, that he's been talking to. I know David also, has some agents that he's talking with. I was out all last week, but that also is my plan. My plan's more agents within our office, because I don't really do much, with the agents in our MLS, because I'm more Wyoming, and
Okay.
is to have more of those with our agents here.
Okay.
What I found out yesterday was there's some of our agents who have only signed up for First Step because they don't want to commit until they meet you, because they've had some not great experiences in the past with some of the coaches. And I just heard that yesterday.
Yeah, no, Tim shared that with me last week too.
Okay.
So here's what I think about that.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I wasn't
As long as if they're really gonna show up to First Step, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Like, I am nothing like your last coach, and I don't mean to disparage him either. Like, I don't know what happened. I heard people were offended. Whatever. Like, we are literally polar opposite people, polar opposite energy, and so I'm not worried about it. We just have to know that. Here's my concern: is that the real reason? Because it's kind of silly. I had one bad bold coach that one time, so I'm never going to take it again. That's being like, one time my dentist wasn't nice, so I'm going to let my teeth fall out. Like, so it's just one of those things where I want to really encourage you guys to not push your people to a point where they're frustrated with you and you potentially harm a relationship. Like, it's like when they say they can't afford it. I don't know, really? I don't have the time. Really? I just, is it the real reason, or are they giving you an easy answer? And I'm sharing that more, that I want you guys to have really strong relationships with your people so that they would never think of leaving you. And I think sometimes that requires a little bit of extra inspection when they give you surface level stuff. So just, if they want to sign up for First, get them signed up for First. I mean, at this point, that number is fairly low too. So that's like if we get no more full registrations, and yet 90% of your agents are like, hey, I'll commit to First Step, then we'd be golden, and I'd be fine with that. Like, I think what we really need to do, and like when we started, I shared with you that I really like to focus on full bolds because not just me, leadership, everybody, it's just not fun at First Step to have to like chase people constantly and convert. Right. If you guys feel that First Step is our best bet, we can shift efforts. What I'd really like to do is, moving forward from today, I want to get you guys on more of a winning track, because we still have 3 more weeks of this, and I don't want it to start to feel, I'm not sensing it yet, which is great. I don't want you guys to hit a point where you're feeling defeated, because then we're totally toast. So, anyway, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Like, do you know your people, the feedback you're getting. Do you feel like we should continue to push for the fulls, or should we focus on First Step, or what do you think?
Well, I know that in the past, our First Step, people that signed up for First Step, I mean, that's where we had a ton of people sign up. I mean, so if past behavior is any prediction of it, that is how, and I've only been here for 1 bold, I think they've had 3.
Right.
And it's not just the last bold coach. The last bold coach, honestly, a lot of people really liked him much better than the 2 previous. So it was kind of a 3 in a row for some people of not a good experience with the coach, even though the information was great. So past behavior is going to indicate to us that if we get enough there for First Step, we will get the conversion. And I do know that some of the agents that did say they want to come to the First Step they're on our ALC. They're not agents that are just saying it as an excuse. I don't believe.
So what if we So what if we started shifting our efforts to being more first step focused? And I have a caveat around it though. Like, why don't we have a powerful enough conversation that we suggest that they block all the dates on their calendar? Because there's something you're going to hear at first step. Oh, I really like him. I really want to take this bold. And I booked a trip, or I like, what if we made it, and again, not a requirement per se, and yet what if we made a suggestion as we're getting our first step people, like, hey, go ahead and block out all the dates now. It'll be real easy for you to backfill that if you decide not to take the class. I just want to make sure you're prepped for success. I think that would help us immensely if we just could get some people under our belt. And then I have another thought for you, and I don't know it, any of your staff, anybody great with like marketing and online type stuff?
Yeah, Katie and our virtual.
So here's my thought. I really, really would love to see, like, I'm confident because of your guys' attitudes. Like, we're a little below where we need to be. I'm sure this bold is going to make, and I'm sure it's going to happen. And so I want you, like, I'm coming no matter what. So let's pack the room. Like, what if we really went? I don't have a nicer way to say it, so forgive me. What if we went balls to the wall with recruits? Like, your pipeline going direct to them, I think is great. What if you created some sort of marketing campaign and created and just focused on first step, maybe if you want, but like really like, what if your whole both MLSs, like, I mean, what if your whole recruiting pond was having bold pushed to them? And I don't even care if you call it bold.
Mhm.
I don't care what you call it. National speaker, national coach, traveling training program. I don't care, right? Like, what if you came up with something catchy and exciting and literally just blasted the crap out of your board of realtors or boards of realtors? Because I just have to think that, and we were kind of having this conversation last week and you weren't there, so I want you to hear it from me. Like, and I don't know your area enough to say this for sure. And yet I'm going to guess because it's a smaller area, like, I just don't feel like there's a lot of opportunities like this.
There's not.
And not to toot my own horn, it's not me, it's bold. Like, I mean, it is a very proven course. It will help people. And then you've got the benefit that it's this new, I think you could get, I mean, like how big is your pond? Like if you look in your recruiting pond, like roughly what number of agents are there?
So total is about 475.
Okay. I mean, what if you had 50 or 60 non-KW agents show up for step one? That's not a crazy number. It's like 10, it's like a little more than 10%. I mean, we know at least that much is struggling,
Well, and
right?
I love your idea about sort of rebranding it a little bit, because Katie's put together, an email invite that she can, she can send a copy of it, and then our agents, we talked about it at team meeting this morning, agents can send a copy of that to any co-op agents that
I love that.
but I think maybe rebranding it a little bit and saying, we have this amazing training event. We would love for you to join us and be our guest.
Have fun with it.
I
Like,
think maybe rebranding it a little bit would be, I like that idea. Because
think of the question think of the question I asked in your team meeting where it was whatever, I forget what your average commission was, like whatever your average commission is times 11, because that's the average production in the room. Like, what if there was a tagline of like, what would you do with an additional X amount of dollars between now and the end of the year? Something to get their attention enough that they might actually read it. And I think still keep pushing your agents to invite people, because that's so much better for stickiness and connection.
Yeah.
And yet you also know that many of your agents aren't going to do jack with it. So like, what if you just started sending it to everybody, and maybe you even created like a social media ad around it? Like, I just think like, and I haven't seen it many times in all honesty, because I feel like unfortunately most leadership doesn't really get the recruiting opportunity that comes with bold. We have had a few amazing examples where leadership has just gone wild with recruits, and we've had, I mean, we had a bold last year that had 30 non-KW agents in full bold. I mean, just imagine what that does, right? Like, so I think like don't forget your agents. Like we need your agents there. But like I'm coming anyways. Let's pack the freaking room. You know?
One of the things, what Katie did and what we're starting
Yes.
to do, we started it yesterday, is all of our, especially all of our cappers and our top agents that have already signed up for full bold, and I was trying to find the post you put out there, but we're putting, wasn't it on our Black Hill site?
Yeah, so I made the First Step to Bold Facebook event, and then
Okay.
each that has signed up for Bold, whether it's First Step or full, they get a blast that I'm bold and everything. And
Love
then I
it.
post to our private mastermind, so that way the agents can choose to share that post to their.
Okay.
agent, and then that will take them to that Facebook event for First Step as well.
And so we're getting out there, you know, like Will Dixon is one of our agents and he's on the ALC and he's one of our brokers and stuff. And Katie put a post out that, you know, congrats, Will, for taking a step for your business or something like that. Congratulations. And so then we put that out and then we shared it on our public page. We sent it to the agents, telling them to share it on their public pages. You know, we're gonna do one of those a day with, because we have some of the top agents in the MLSs, both of them. As part of our social media piece to it, I guess.
No, and that's huge. And I
What it
think
is.
because you guys are so spread out and you don't have as many people in your location, you've got to utilize social media, email, text, like
Yep.
to do that because the like FOMO works everywhere, including South Dakota. So like when you do start to show like, oh wow, oh they're taking this, maybe I should think about that. I do think it really, really helps. I did a little math and I want to don't get scared by this. I just hear it. So if we're going to focus more on first step and assuming that we're still moving towards that goal of 70, there is no firing squad if we don't hit 70. And yet I know your goal is not to hit the bare minimum. Let's just keep calling it 70. You're at 21 full bold now. I'm assuming in the next 3 weeks, even without going for full bolds, we'll at least get to 25. Like, does that sound realistic? Yeah, I thought so too. So in order to hit 70 based off again, and I'm going off our averages, even though your averages might be better, I'd rather prepare for the worst. So our average show rate is 60%, and that's for people who are registered for first step only. Full bold people will show up, they paid. So
Yes.
first step only, the average show rate is 60%, and the average conversion in the room is 70%. So what that means is that you'd have to have 119 first step only to get to 70. Now, it might sound like a crazy number, and I don't think it's that crazy if you really went wild with your recruiting pond.
Yes, we'd have to do that, and I think, what I had already actually talked to Tim about this, is because I use MailChimp, and I have one of the boards in there because I was focusing on kind of one of the boards and he was on the other, but we're gonna get all the MLS members in there and blast something out, but I was gonna do more of like the bold email Katie had prepared, but I think I want to do it a little bit, and because they don't know what bold is, they don't know what it is, so it's just like, this is an opportunity, we have a great training event coming, blah, 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 tell a little bit about you or something, and get that blasted out to all the MLS, 100%.
Yeah, and create, like I would even create like a landing page for it. Like forget the bold registration site. The bold registration site is ugly and it's clunky. I don't have control over that. Like have them RSVP. What's that?
Yeah, it changed. It looks good today.
Oh, is it new? Okay, cool.
Registration shows like the location and like the agenda.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's
not just the new.
Thank you for telling me.
Okay.
I'm still thinking though, only for your control, you might want to have, if you're going to do like a mass campaign, you might want to have them register to something that you have more control over. And then you can go in and register them on the site. I want you, I mean, you can obviously click the link that you get every day. I'm just thinking, I want you to have as much connectivity with these people as possible. The ones that'll say yes. And I think that if you blast it out to everybody today or tomorrow, you'll probably get a few yeses. If you keep blasting it out, and yes, you're going to get some people who unsubscribe, who freaking cares? They're not your people. Like if you keep blasting it out, I really think you could have like just a stupid number in there, like a number that would really be exciting. And and then we
yeah, I
convert
think I
them.
like that idea, maybe to have it, if we send that out, have it go to even like a Google form, and they can fill out their information, and then we'll, be following up with class information.
Yeah, like simple.
Yeah,
And then my advice too is anybody who you get, don't even, unless they open the door, don't even think about attempting to recruit them unless they were already in your like pipeline. Like
Yeah.
just get them to the event. Let the event do the heavy lifting. So yeah. Any other questions that you have to make sure that we have a productive week?
and I think, this is something they said when I was at, Skills Camp and FSO last week too, when they talked about bold, and, Gary
Yeah.
Keller didn't rewrite it, he wrote it. Like, he wrote it.
It's new.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what I'm talking about in 3 weeks. Like I'm going to be in Austin on Monday, spending the entire day with Gary, and hopefully he's going to hand us some physical material so we can prepare. Like that's how new it is, and
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
And we've had to do this before when we've had adjustments, so it's not like I can't get ready quickly. So yeah, no, it is new. Your recruits aren't going to care. Your agents, though, that's one more like little piece of FOMO, like, hey, do you want to be the first, or do you want to wait 2 years? Because on average, that's how often you guys have bold. Like,
Yeah.
and that there's something else to keep in mind as you're talking to people. Like if I look at a market center that's smaller like yours, that therefore doesn't have as much opportunity to have bold like yours, like you got like, so you guys really, you feel like your business is strong enough, even with the market changes and the industry changes, that you can wait another 2 years to do something like this? Or maybe should you at least come to step one and make an educated decision? Like, I feel like step one, I know I'm not the one making the call, so don't take this as a like, how dare he? Like, step one is like shooting fish in a barrel, guys. Like, it's just not like, you're going to give them free lunch. If they don't sign up for full bold, they're still going to leave with value. They're still going to leave with leads. Like there is literally, like in theory, every one of your agents should be at step one unless they're out of town. Like what else could they possibly be doing for that amount of time on that date that would make more sense for them? It's 5 hours. Like just show up. So let's just like, hey, take more fulls if you get them. I think it's great. And let's shift focus to first step. Let's get wild with it. We're going to need, like, I'm saying this is not like do this or I'm out. Like I'm telling you for your benefit, like you got to be adding people every single day. So whatever time you can devote every single day, the momentum, if we can keep it moving, the momentum will start to build on itself. And yet when we have like 2 good days and then nothing for a few days, it's so exhausting. And then if you guys need anything during the week, of course, please reach out. Don't wait till these Zooms. I want this bold to be big and impactful, and I want it to be great for you guys. So if you need anything else, let me know. Have some fun with the recruiting idea. Like use whatever words you want. I don't care. Kid of your eyes, never going to see it. And let me know what else you need from me. Okay.
Oh, and I was able to share at our meeting because I met the MCA when I was there last week, and you're doing a bold for them. She's New Hampshire maybe, or
yes, yeah, I'm in New Hampshire right now.
Yeah, so you are doing bold for them, and she said that the agents love you. And that,
I'll take it. I appreciate that.
Yes,
share that. I mean, honestly, like, so this is, oh, good. Yeah, this is,
yes, I did share that at team meeting, and I reminded them too, like, you guys, bold isn't about getting seats filled. I mean, yes, there has to be
there has to be, right.
But just to remember that this is really to bring you just knowledge and information and all those things. Cause I always like to say, like, I'm not here to teach you anything. However, I am here to cause you to think.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's to me what so much of it is about.
Yeah. Yeah. This is this is the biggest bold they've ever had by like 25 or 30 registrations. It's been a really, really good bold. Yeah. The last thing I want to make sure you know is you should have gotten an email, and yet you get 3,000 a day, so you might not have caught it. There is a call on Friday. It's labeled an emergency call. So it's here's my ask. Please just be on the call. There is no browbeating. It is, I don't like the name of it, and yet that's what they call it. It is, nobody's getting called out. They're simply going to give you strategies that you might not have thought of. And actually, a few of the a few team leaders that I am currently in launch with are going to be on there and sharing, because I've got a launch in Minneapolis that probably by the end of the day, if not tomorrow, will be sold out at 200 registrations. And we have a lot of market centers, but the market center numbers are really high on an individual basis as well. So they're going to share some of the things that worked well for them. So just be on that call for your benefit. Like, it's not like emergency call sounds like you're in trouble. You're not in trouble. We just want you to win. All right. You guys are awesome. Have a great day. Let me know if you need anything. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.